Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What it do? It's your boy Rebuke coming back at you live in the flesh. And welcome back to another edition of Rebuke All Devils Radio. 107.7, home of the truth. And when I tell you home of the truth, man, that's all we promote. And the truth is, we got this wicked demon right here, right? With his big ass ears. Pedophiles jailed after pinning down and abusing little boy as he begged them to let go. Thank you, Oliver Clay and Alejandra Kindred, for bringing us this story. And look at this dirty old man that pinned the little boy down and abused him while the child was screaming for help. Man, YouTube, I tell you, these stories you cannot make up. They are real. This old, disgusting pedophile right here actually done this. Man, let's get the details. Two pedophiles who held a little boy down on the bed and abused him as he demanded to be let go have been jailed. Gareth Culshaw, 52, and John O'Brien, 67, were reunited in the dock last week as they were sentenced for abusing a child in the 2010s. Culshaw had previously pleaded guilty to 7 charges of sexual assault of a child, under 13, relating to 2 young children, and 1 of inciting a child to engage in a sexual activity in relation to one of the defenseless and innocent victims. O'Brien was convicted at trial of 1 count of sexual assault of a child under 13 years of age relating to a joint offense with Culshaw and representing at least 2 instances of touching. Miles Wilson, prosecuting, told Chester Crown Court how the boy was abused at least twice by Culshaw and O'Brien, including when the young victim was held down on a bed. Damn. 3 of the counts against Culshaw, who lived in Runcorn at the time of the offenses, were sexually assaults of a little girl whom he assaulted twice in a car and a 3rd time in a house. A little boy was abused at least twice by Culshaw and O'Brien, including when the young victim was held down on the bed. Man, how can you do that to a kid? The abuse came to light when an adult overheard a conversation between the child and one of the victims, who then told their parents and alerted the police, Liverpool Echo reports. In her interview with investigators, the girl said Culshaw had driven her to some woods and began removing his and her clothes in the back seat, but stopped when the car drove past before he returned to the driver's seat and drove off. The young boy said his abuse took place in Culshaw's bed. As he began to open up about what happened, he told his family he was also assaulted by a man called Jimmy, whom he would later identify as O'Brien in the video ID parade. Assaults involved the boy being pushed onto the bed and the abusers taking off their tops and watching each other committing abuse. Oh my goodness. There was also an occasion when both got on the bed with tops off touching him, and he told them to get off. When interviewed by police, Culshaw and O'Brien denied the allegations but were convicted via guilty 8 pleas in the case of Culshaw and a guilty verdict at trial for O'Brien. A victim statement from the boy's dad said that since the disclosure, his son has suffered mood swings due to being deeply affected by the sexual abuse he suffered. And you mean to tell me that kid didn't suffer? This is a child that didn't know nothing about stuff like this, that was abused by 2 dirty old men. The dad said the impact was draining and devastating for them, while the boy said his ordeal has left him worried and scared in case Culshaw came to get him, as well as suffering nightmares. There was no personal statement in relation to the girl. Mr. Wilson said Culshaw was previously sentenced to 10 years at Chester Crown Court in 2017 for 3 counts of rape of a teenage girl under the age of 16 in an unconnected case. O'Brien had no previous connections. Matthew Dunford, appearing for Culshaw, said Culshaw had pleaded guilty to the charges, albeit at a late stage. He said the author of Culshaw's pre-sentence report said she hopes he uses his time constructively while in prison, with Mr. Dunford adding, in my submission, he's already seeking to do that. Yeah, okay. That argument didn't convince the judge. Recorder Lawrence McDonald, who rebutted the claim by telling Culshaw if he wanted his crime to be dealt with together, it was open to you to ask for these to be dealt with at the same time. Carmel Wildy, appearing for O'Brien, said she didn't seek to minimize the awful effect that this offending has had on his victim, as his father has movingly described in a personal statement. The recorder sentenced Culshaw to 11 years in prison, with 2/3 to be served before consideration for parole, and O'Brien to 4 years and 6 months. He said Culshaw had used the boy for his own sexual gratification, and in the joint offense, Culshaw and O'Brien had held him down on the bed and forcibly touched him. Recorder Lawrence said, "This catalog of sexual abuse of two very young children over a period of years displays the depths of depravity to which both you sank." The judge said the victims were extremely vulnerable. He added, "They were entirely defenseless and innocent young children who you abused, both of you, for your own gratification." Recorder McDonald ordered sexual harm prevention orders for both defendants and said both will remain on the sex offenders register for life. The judge held back from subjecting Culshaw to extended license under the dangerous provisions, though noted this did not mean Culshaw was not a danger to children. He added they would have to pay a statutory surcharge. The identities of Culshaw and O'Brien, the victims, who were younger than 10 years of age at the time of the offenses, are protected for life under UK law. Man, I'm trying to tell you, shout out to the courts that got rid of them pedophiles, man. I'm trying to tell you, boy. Boy, I'm trying to tell you, man. And you look like a monster. You look like a devilish, demonic, sexual child predator. That's exactly what you look like, man. And you should have got way more than 11 years in the penitentiary for what you done to those children. But man, YouTube, drop your comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to click on that notification bell. And I'll definitely catch you on the next episode. Peace.